Okay. We are into the last part of security, and after that, we are done with the syllabus for this term, right? And that's when I am going to start papers. Okay. So we were talking about the software security all this time, and today it's the physical security. Right. So what is physical security? Physical security is basically you are blocking the humans, right? You are controlling the human, accessing the network places, sensitive areas, right? Ensures critical parts of the network can only be accessed by authorized people. So this is not logging in, okay? This is physically blocking them, such as network technicians or system administrators only uh, allowed, will be allowed, but not the others. It also includes protecting against theft of equipment. We like we normally when we talk about security, we will be doing half an hour. 7 o'clock we are stopping. Uh, when we talk about security, we think only about viruses, worms, and so on. But what about stealing? Stealing computer devices? That also we had to look into. It might involve installing burglar alarms, right? Security tagging, right? Physically locking down the equipment, biometric scanning to enter premises. You must have seen, centers, Google data centers, Facebook data centers. They even scan the iris to enter the building, enter the premises. The starting point of physical securing the network is having servers located in a locked room. Right now applied to our server room. That guy sometimes leave the server room, right? Uh, the door open. He sometimes go to the washroom or the staff room, and he leaves the door open. So think about it, right? That's not secure enough. And also, you must have seen like outside people, like telecom people, dialogue people, they come for maintenance work and they come right into the server room. But in that case, of course, we have seen the server guy, the Mr. Vipul, he's there inside the server room. But what if now we don't know who these people are? Right? These people can be pretending to be maintenance guys. Maybe not from dialogue, even though they wear dialogue the t-shirts. And that's also a threat. So it's very important that the server administrator is there always. This is normally referred to as a server room. Electronic lock systems have many advantages of traditional lock systems. Entry and exit times can be recorded. We can see who came in, who logged in. I mean, who came to the premises, who at what time they left. Right. Individual cards, fobs can be deactivated if lost. So many organizations, they give this biometric scanning methods, card systems to enter premises. I have heard that one company in Colombo, IT company, every employee has to wear a tag, an RFID tag. It's like the identity card, but the company is using the tag to find out where exactly the employee is inside the premises. They are being tracked, right? Maybe to check whether they are available in case of an emergency. But it's a breach of privacy, by the way. But what to do? Different companies, they implement different policies. Physical security is very important because anyone with physical access to the server can easily bypass the security provided by the authentication system, right? The biggest mistake would be allowing people inside the sensitive areas than letting them come through internet or other methods. Having done so, they could copy, modify, or delete any data on the network. Now imagine those maintenance guys bringing a pen drive and plugging it to the server, right? Where the server will be destroyed, or server will lead to a denial of service attack, DOS attack, or it can even install malware, right? So they plug, installs malware, and then they can easily gain remote access from anywhere in the world. And they can even use employees inside the premises, right? You must have seen like those maid aunties uh, walk into the server room to meet the server guy, right? What if the maid auntie is trained to plug a pen drive by an outside, right? That can also happen, right? Okay, so the next is cloud storage and security. So many organizations, what they do is instead of maintaining their own systems, own hardware, software systems, and applying their own security methods, they rely on cloud storage providers like Google, Microsoft. Even we, Gateway, has moved to this solution. So this is a more cost-effective, more reliable option than maintaining our own systems. In fact, a couple of years back, we had our own systems. We had our own web servers, we had our own mail servers, our own security systems. But over time, when the company grows, it's very difficult to upgrade and spend money on our own equipment. So it's a more cost-effective solution to go for a cloud provider. So now we have partnered with Google and Microsoft. Okay. So the concept of cloud, is discussed on Unit 4. This section covers the security section. Security. Right. So the cloud comes in a later unit, but this is talking about the reasons for going for cloud in terms of security. Many advantages are there. The cloud storage provider is responsible for hardware your data is stored on. They will need to ensure the data is accessible and maintain the hardware software needed to make the data available. So it's not our job, it's the cloud provider's job. So we don't need to hire people to look after our own system. We don't need to upgrade our hardware. Everything is done by the cloud provider, right? We just need to pay the subscription and get the service. That's all. The amount of storage available to an organization can easily be changed. Okay, now I think in your Microsoft accounts, they have given you 1 TB of storage space. So we can request more if we want, or we can reduce, we can scale it up and down, scale up or scale down with a simple request. The cloud storage provider can normally make extra storage available in minutes. Doing this physically would mean ordering more hard drives. Imagine we had our own system, we would have to order hard drives, fix them. This takes time, right? When you do this, you might have to stop the system running, and then availability is a problem, right? You guys are listening, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Abdullah, after maybe the first time or after a long time?
After a long time, sir.
That's the thing. I can't remember when you joined last, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Having data stored offsite. What do you mean offsite? Offsite means away from the organization. Means that is protected from loss. So when you go for a cloud, it's stored somewhere in the world, somewhere else in the world. Right? There is a effect of that as well. We'll talk about that. But it's stored away from your organization, right? So there's no way that intruders come into your premises and stealing the data. Theft of computer servers, electrical failure. What about natural hazards, right? Deliberate actions and natural hazards and accidents. As the data is still available, the business may be carried from elsewhere. This could be the difference between staying in business or going bankrupt. Right? For a school, of course, we don't really mind this that much. But imagine even in school, payment system, your mark systems, they are more sensitive than other types of data. Many cloud storage systems also manage the backup. So if we had our own system, we have to do the backup. Then it's a nightmare, right? Every day at a certain time, we have to do the backup. And to backup also, we need to find devices. But here, no such problem. Everything is managed by the cloud provider. He does the backup. They take hourly and daily snapshots of your data and be able to restore them in case of accidental deletion or hardware corruption or even theft. So many advantages are there for going for cloud storage when it comes to security. Okay. Right, but there are some disadvantages as well. So it looks like there are more disadvantages. Well, not. No advantages are there than disadvantages, but you have to get a reliable cloud provider. And you have to get a paid subscription. So Gateway pays a lot for these two cloud providers. And even though it's a lot, it has been more secure and more cost effective than our own methods. So what are the problems with the cloud in terms of security? What are the disadvantages? You are relying on a third-party storage provider. You are asking someone else to protect our own data, sensitive data. What happens if the cloud storage provider goes bankrupt or they close the company or they're attacked, right? It can lead to catastrophic failures, right? Okay, I mean, if they experience catastrophic failures of their servers, right? Servers breakdown, denial of service attacks, right? What will happen? Then the data will not be available. This happened to Google sometime back, Facebook sometime back. Some of their regional servers got attacked. They went offline. So millions of people were affected. In any of these cases, it would likely you would be unable to access your data, at least temporarily, right? Sometimes permanently. Data stored anywhere accessible via the internet carries the risk of other people gaining access to it. So when you get cloud provider, you have to always send the data back and forth. Then intermediate unauthorized people can gain access. But again, the cloud service provider won't let that happen. They have put all the security features in place. This might happen through deliberate attack by hackers as a result of accidental error in the way it is set up. Right. Also, in the internet, as a particularly secure network, data may be accessed as it is being sent from the cloud storage provider. So mostly we see the cloud accounts are threatened or vulnerable due to our own mistakes. We don't enable two-factor authentication. We just leave the accounts open. We access our accounts from everywhere, right? From school, from home. We leave the passwords, remembered, saved. So it's our own fault. Also, mostly. Also, the internet isn't. Yeah, the loss of data, particularly of a confidential nature, could be devastating for an organization. Right? So accidental error or deliberate attack. Users of cloud storage have to assume that the people providing the service is trustworthy. So when you are selecting a cloud provider, you need to look at their history. You need to look at their features, premium features, what kind of security they offer, what kind of extra features, add-ons they offer, right? You have to compare their plans. The cloud storage provider might have its servers located. Now, this is one of the main problems we have. They may have their servers located in different parts in uh, the world. Different physically, their servers are located in different parts of the world. What happens now? They're in different countries. If those countries won't have proper data protection laws, our data will be threatened. Imagine Google having a server in let's say Israel or Gaza right now, and it's our data. And now the problem is like what will happen to that server? Something like that. Okay. I think I told you about an interesting reply I got from AQA, the examination body in UK. Right? There was an advertisement to recruit markers, paper markers for AQA. So I applied for computer science. Then I got a reply saying that you're applying from Sri Lanka, which is out of European Union. We care about the data protection laws, so we are unable to offer you or consider your application because you are in Sri Lanka. Right? See how they are concerned about the data protection laws. So they want us to be within the European Union. So unfortunately, I didn't get that chance, or I mean, even to consider my application. Right? So these organizations should be very careful about the data protection laws. Some types of data can only be legally stored in countries that have similar data protection laws in our own. Can only legally be stored. So these cloud providers, they will be looking at, before setting up a server, they will be looking at that particular country's data protection laws. If they go in line with the European Union's data protection laws, if the company is in European Union, then they will set up their servers, not otherwise. Access to cloud storage is dependent on having reliable, high-speed internet connection. Okay, this is an obvious disadvantage, right? We need to have a good connection, good internet connection, a high bandwidth, because it requires a lot of data transfer. How will a business operate if the internet becomes unavailable for some reason? Right. So if you have anything to add, let me know. Just disturb me anytime. And any questions, any doubts, right? Okay. So we saw the advantages of going for cloud for security to protect our data, and this disadvantage as well. But you can see overall, we can take cloud as a good option, secure option, right? See, the decision to use cloud storage involves carefully weighing up the advantages against the disadvantages. Many of the disadvantages present risks to operations of an organization, but the impact of some of these risks can be reduced, right? So this is where you need to have a good ICT policy in your organization, right? If you remember, we can take a lot of examples from our school. If you remember when they introduced the Microsoft accounts, they gave a common password, right? And later we saw Gateway Nigambo guys logging into Candy students' accounts, right? And Colombo students logging into the Hewler accounts because it was a common account. So then they brought this two-factor authentication and it was introduced. Now, when the two-factor was introduced, what happened was students could not use their accounts in school because the two-factor was sent to their personal device. See? So we had to carefully look at these things, right? We want to use the Microsoft accounts in school as well. At the same time, we need to make it more secure. Another problem is most of you guys, you have the default password, and then the accounts are hacked. The moment you go for difficult passwords, strong passwords, then you forget the password. Right now, I have the authorization to reset your passwords. And I know how troublesome it is because I get so many calls from students saying that they forgot the password. They only remember about the password when school starts, online school. So then they start calling and saying, can you reset the password? Right? So you can see that all these are due to our mishandling these cloud services. Many cloud storage providers will store your data in multiple locations so that fire, flood, hardware, electrical failures should have no major impact accessing data. You can encrypt your data so that it is much more difficult and read it while being transferred. So this is why you should be looking at analyzing their plans, the plans they offer, right? So, for example, one of the plan will say like we use this type of encryption, but it is costlier than the previous plan. Fine, then you have to think carefully and decide. So, for this particular reason, you might definitely think of going for a cloud, right? I don't want to keep my data in our own organization. It can be threatened uh, due to deliberate actions or natural hazards. So I'm going to keep them with the cloud provider. Okay. Right. Another solution that you can use in your own setup if you don't want to go for cloud is to have something called network attached storage. Network attached storage, right? You highlight the book and write where necessary. Network attached storage. So this is basically a storage which is accessible through the network. A common storage, a shareable storage which is accessible through the network. We don't have a system like that in our school, but CIS has a server, file server. A NAS is a hardware device that is connected to a network to provide file storage. So we can put a lot of hard disk drives and then improve the capacity and then give that capacity to people or the clients who need it, like a file server. A typical NAS device designed for home use could consist of a single hard drive, associated network hardware, while an organized NAS would have many hard drives. You can increase the capacity by adding more hard drives, right? Like in CIS setup, they give hard disk quota to the students, so they save their work in the NAS. NAS devices often include a wide range of additional features, such as allowing or access over the internet, specialist apps to allow smartphones and tablets to access the NAS. NAS devices are designed for ease of use rather than being secure. Once a NAS is connected to the internet, it becomes possible for it to be hacked remotely. So you can see that this is not so secure compared to uh, the cloud storage, right? It's simply a shared hard drive or multiple hard drives. Again, your faults can lead to a lot of threats, even when you are using a NAS, right? Many of us, what we do is we don't change the default password. That's applicable for the cloud as well. That's what actually happened when Microsoft accounts were given. You didn't change the default password. not updating the software running on NAS. So cloud, of course, we don't have any control over this. They do it. But if you are running our NAS, we need to update the software. Then we need to run patches to fix the bugs, and then we need to keep everything up to date, right? And you remember, no? I told you this Dylan and his friend, Dylan the head boy, and his friend hacked our lab 5, one of the computers, to reveal the admin password. How did they do that? With this problem, right? The BIOS was not updated. It was an outdated BIOS because the admin changed the new computer, which was faulty, with an old computer which had an old motherboard, right, where the BIOS was outdated. So these guys attacked the BIOS. These weaknesses might, so like, we don't really care about these updates, right? We see the updates and we just skip the update. So that's not good. If you're having a paid version, license version, update. That's very important. These weaknesses might be used to gain access to the stored data. Yeah, weaknesses, right? So those two guys, they looked at the weaknesses. Right, the security weaknesses are often published on internet for criminals to read. Right, so internet is a huge resource where anyone can learn about weaknesses. Right, even hackers. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Right. Another widely used storage device is USB flash drive. Flash drives are easy to transport, relatively cheap, and now it's so small. The disadvantage is that people can carry large amounts of possible sensitive information. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. Uh, we have uh, sensitive data in these pen drives. Carry large amounts of possible sensitive information. Anyone can find a lost flash drive and access. So it's important that you put locks for the drive, or at least encrypt the folders and data. To overcome this, encrypted flash drives are there. They are unreadable until a password or number code is entered. Storage devices also present an ideal opportunity for employee to steal data, perhaps to sell to someone else. That means in the organization, let's say you leave the pen drive plugged to the machine, and then a maid aunt might come and remove the flash drive and sell it to someone, right? We don't really think about these things that much, right? In numerous times, I have left my pen drive in the lab plugged, and I know how frustrating it was. So I had been calling the school, uh, the support staff to check whether it's there and keep it in a safe place until I get it back. So it's really important that you protect your pen drive more than anything else, right? If you're keeping your important files there. Okay. Right. So we talked about the cloud advantages, disadvantages, why cloud is important when it comes to security. Uh, how can we weigh the advantages and disadvantages and decide on the type of cloud that we are going for? We talked about the pen drive issue. Then NAS, we talked about the NAS, how it can be used, our mistakes when using these systems all have to be considered when talking about the physical security. We talked about the physical security today. Right. Okay, guys, I think we have another lesson to finish this off. I'll meet you tomorrow to finish the rest of the chapter, and then we are done. we are ready to do papers. Okay. So I'm going to start classes from this weekend. Fill that form if you want to join, either online or physical. Okay. Right. The session is recorded. I'll share.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if you're keeping physical, where are you going to keep the class?
The place is in Kandy, near Trinity.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. I'll send you the details. Right. Okay. See you then. Remind me, we have to start from cyber attacks. The next session.
Okay, sir.